Selective Color is a great adjustment layer for doing both photo retouching, cleanup, something that's fine tuning and doing adjusting and subtle color corrections and things like that. It's also great for more creative and more dramatic color controls. So here we have an image that's just kind of a overly yellow cast street scene, taking on a lot of the tungsten light color from that yellow light. And so by adding a selective color adjustment to it, we're able to go in and pick whatever color, family we want to adjust. And we could say something like, let's take all those yellows and sort of make them a lot more blue and kind of, tone this down. And you could go through all kinds of other colors and subtly or dramatically adjust this to make it just more white light looking or more blues, like it's sort of a nighttime shot or whatever. On the other side of that, I'm going to reset the selective color. We could say, let's go into this and do something a bit more creative. Maybe make this look kind of like stage lighting or something. So I'm going to go into the blues and say, let's make those very as blue as we can get them. Same thing with the cyans, and it's going to be fairly subtle here initially. But then when I go into, neutrals and say, let's make those much more blue as well and give it like this, purple yellow kind of cast, that's already starting to look more like theatrical or, very unnatural, interesting lighting. We could go back into the yellows and say I want those to be a little bit more orange. And so just taking these sliders and sort of mixing color will allow you to have a lot more control over things. So that's kind of fun. That's taking on a pretty interesting look. Another example of this, starting off with an image that's very multicolored like this and just doing selective color controls to sort of rebalance it. And so, this one just adding the selective color adjustment layer to it and then getting into things like the reds, obviously here, and saying I want those to be much more, not red, right? More blue, more yellow, more cyan or whatever. And so if we look at the adjustment layer that I had done previously and go kind of through the channels, you can see greatly affected the red sliders by really pulling them apart. Yellows, same thing, pushing things apart. And so it's just really a matter of essentially going through each channel and just sort of moving those sliders around a little bit. And some channels, you're just not going to have color information for those, so it doesn't matter. But a lot of it, you can get into it and like with the neutrals, for example, just making those a lot more cyan will sort of unify things that otherwise are starting to look kind of gray with the rest of the sliders, but then recoloring them with more cyan and more green, will really allow this to become reunified. And then I might couple this with a levels adjustment layer or something that will heighten the contrast back into it again too. So yeah, that is all I'm going to say for now about selective color.